Live from Los Angeles, I'm Jenny Taft, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Well, I guess that clinches it. New England now has its new Tom Brady. Mac Brady, your guy. Good luck with that, right?
I don't know about all that.
Huh?
Skip, his arm looked a lot weaker last night than it did in Alabama.
I thank you for saying that. His arm made Brady's arm look like Mahomes' arm, right?
It did.
But
he's very active.
Here we go.
He's very
Little
active.
difference between the college game and the pro game. Oh, we're just getting started there. I promise we'll get to it, but we have some big Clippers news. And even though there is currently no timetable set for his return, we now know Kawhi will be sticking around in L.A. Yesterday, Kawhi agreed with the Clippers to a 4-year deal with a player option that is worth over $176 million, according to reports. So, Shannon, will he lead the Clippers to a championship during this contract?
Skip, I'm going to look at it like this. Let's break it down like this. We do know that there's a likelihood that he's going to miss some of the season this year. Is it going to be some, or is it going to be all? He missed 15 games, he missed 30 games, or he says, you know what, guys, I'm going to make sure I'm totally healthy. Because this is what we know about Kawhi Leonard in his history. He does not play hurt. So I'm going to say this year, I'm going to wash it up. I'm going to say he doesn't play at all. Even though I think there's a 50-50 chance he does play, but he missed some games. So
may I say you better hope he doesn't play this year?
No, I want him to play. I want him to get, I want him to play. It doesn't matter to me. We don't worry about the other squad. We worry about what's in our locker room. But anyway, so that's 1 year. So he has 2 years left because the 4th year is an option. Basically, Skip, that's an insurance policy in case the knees do give out on him, because we know his history. He's had some knee issues over the last several years that's caused him to miss some time. I'm going to say they don't, Skip, because I don't believe the Nets, I don't believe Milwaukee, I don't believe the Lakers, I don't believe some of these other teams have some of the issues that they have. Now, when you have two guys on max deals, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, it becomes very difficult for you to fill out your roster with significant players. Basically, you're getting guys on mid-level exceptions. You're getting guys taking the vet minimum. They did get an opportunity to sign Reggie Jackson back. He got some good money. He played really well for them last year. They invested a lot in Marcus Morris. He also returns. Terrence Mann is going to get more and more playing time. It seems like he's gaining confidence as the days go by. I don't believe they do, Skip, because I don't believe they're better than the Nets. I don't believe they're better than the Lakers. I don't believe that they're better than the Bucks. So with that being said, I'm going to say they don't win one within the next 3 years. Now, he could opt out after that 4th year, so we'll see what happens then. I'm just going to take it 3 years because that's what we know for a fact.
That's what we know for a fact.
He has a 3-year deal. I'm going to say within the next 3 years, he does not win a championship. As a matter of fact, our good old friends at Fox Bet, Nets, Lakers, Bucks, Warriors, Jazz, Suns, all are favored in front of your team.
Well, that's in large part because of that injury.
Well, is he healthy all of a sudden?
If he were 100%, the Clippers might be up there right at the very top.
First of all, if LeBron James was in year 12, we'd be number 1. You know that, I know that. So,
yeah, but he's completely healthy, and he could stand on a yoga ball for a whole minute.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. I believe that LeBron James is going to play at the very minimum 2 more years. Now, Skip, will he be the same LeBron year 20, year 21? That remains to be seen. I'm concerned about year 19. We'll cross 28 and 21 bridges at a later date and time. I still believe Philly is in play for Dame Lillard. You put Joel Embiid and Dame together, that has the makings to being something really, really special. So to make a long story short, and I made a short story long,
yes,
I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no. Okay, I'm glad you brought up that time frame, that span of 3 years, because that's what we know.
That's what we know.
And we also, given Father Time, given tapping LeBron on at least one of his shoulders at this moment, I'll give LeBron 3 more seasons. So it's pretty weird that it's concurrent, that it looks like Kawhi will play at least 3 more years for the Clippers, and LeBron probably will play 3 more years for the Lakers.
They're like their 3 years overlap.
Okay, match.
Okay.
Here we go. I believe with all my heart and soul that Kawhi Leonard will win at least one championship for the Clippers in the next 3 years. I believe with all my heart and soul LeBron will not win another championship for the Lakers as he goes into year 19, 20,
You said
21.
that when he first got there, he wasn't going to win no championship.
Well, then they get the bubble championship.
Well,
Had a big old asterisk. Nobody wanted to go to the bubble except for LeBron, and I give him credit for that. They bubbled up on everybody. That's what they did, and they pulled it off. They got to play the 5th seed from the Eastern Conference in the finals, and the 5th seed lost its 2 best players in the playoffs in game 1 of the finals. It has a big old shiny asterisk at the bottom of it, and you got a cubic zirconia ring, and I congratulate you for that in the bubble.
Didn't the Spurs beat the Knicks one year as an 8th seed?
Okay, I've never said no to that. I agree with that. That was a long time. That was ancient.
It happened.
Ancient David Robinson history.
Happened.
Yeah, okay, it did happen. All right, back to what just happened here.
Okay.
I believe there was a silver lining to what happened when Joe Ingles bumped Kawhi Leonard at the end of that game. Remember that game?
You keep saying that like it's almost like you believe it was intentional. That's what you keep saying. That's what you keep sounding like.
I'm not saying it was intentional because it didn't look that bad. Or can we see it? Just the Joe Ingles play. It's the end. They're about to tie the series up at 2-2, and it's at Staples.
Why was he in the game?
That's exactly my question, and I tweeted that immediately because there's 5:25 left in the game, and the Clippers are up 105-88. I don't know why, but it didn't look like a dangerous blow that was delivered, right? He just bumped him.
Right.
And it wasn't malicious. It wasn't intentional. He was just trying to stop his momentum.
Right.
It was just a cagey play by a guy who kind of plays more with his head than his body, right? And what happened, he came down just a little bit awkwardly and ligament tore. Not badly, but it tore enough he needed surgery. So at that point, it's 2-2, and you know what happened the rest of the way. Paul George rose and shone the rest of the way, and he really played well. He played like a superstar instead of just a star. But the point was that if that play doesn't happen, I believe that Kawhi Leonard would have shopped himself. I believe that he would have wanted to be more wined and dined on the open market by the Knicks or by Miami or whoever else might have jumped into the fray. And yet, once that went down, well, he's kind of stuck, right? Because now it's a little questionable whether he can play at all, as you just brought up, next year. So are you going to pay? It's like the Kevin Durant situation. You're going to pay for Kevin Durant even though you're going to miss the whole first year? Yes, you are. But is Kawhi Kevin Durant? Well, I never said he was Kevin Durant.
Right.
He's really good, and he's good enough to lead the Clippers to a championship, but he's not Kevin Durant. But on the open market, as he had just turned 30 years of age, would Kawhi have been able to command the kind of attention and the kind of dollars that he did when he was in Toronto and came to the Clippers instead of the Lakers?
But the thing is, Skip, he wouldn't have been able to get the max dollars that he got from the Clippers on the open market.
I got it.
We know Kawhi wants to get, he likes his money.
But he also likes to be wined and dined, right?
Yeah. Okay. I still believe he would have got wined and dined, Skip. They showed him love.
So, but the point is, he is now a Clipper for at least 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe beyond 4 years. We don't know that for a fact at this point. We know 3. And what we do know is that Paul George, as I just said, rose and shone in the playoffs because here are his numbers. They went up considerably from the regular season because he was playing 41 minutes a game. He far and away led the whole playoffs in minutes average per game. 41 minutes. He averaged 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's star power. That's money can't buy kind of talent and an impact on playoff games. And I remind you that they got through Utah without Kawhi, right?
Yeah.
And then I will remind you, it took the stretch of Chris Paul's life to save the day for the Phoenix Suns against the Clippers without Kawhi.
Oh, that Game 6.
Okay, remember Game 6, what happened at Staples?
Yeah.
When LeBron weirdly went to another game, but I don't know what that was about. I don't know what it was about, but the point was, at Staples that night, Chris Paul, who used to call Staples home, he made it his home away from home because in the last minute and 28 seconds, of the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter, he scored 27 points. You saw stretches in the finals where you say, there's no way he could score 27 points in a game, let alone in a
two
quarter.
games.
Yeah, right, in 2 games, let alone in a quarter and a minute and 28 seconds at the end of the third quarter. He just shot them right out of the playoffs.
Right.
Well, it's like too good. You tip your cap, you go on.
Right.
You know, you're done, because he had not just the game of his life, he had the stretch of his life. I've never seen him play like that before, right?
No.
Okay, so it took that to stop him. They all ran it back. It reminds me of what Tampa Bay did, except they obviously didn't go win the championship. Although you, Shannon Sharp, acknowledged on television that if Kawhi had stayed healthy, they would have gone to the finals. I don't know if you thought they would win the finals, but they would have gotten to the finals. I believe they could have beat Giannis and company, but that's just me. So the point is,